History might inaccurately attribute the long and difficult economic period which lies ahead to the credit crisis that began in 2007 and 2008, just as many people believe that the stock market crash of 1929 caused the Great Depression. The housing bubble and mortgage crisis, however, are not at the heart of the great challenges that lie ahead. At the heart of our economic troubles are two things: the short-sightedness and irresponsibility of our politicians and the aging of our population. Let's talk about our aging population. We've been aware of this problem for many decades. Let's use an extreme example to illustrate the problem. Imagine that 99% of the people in America are over age 65. They're drawing Social Security and Medicare benefits. Some are drawing Medicaid and food stamps. Is there any way our economy could survive with 99% of the population in retirement? Of course not. If 10% of the population is retired, we can handle that. The working population pays taxes that fund Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and food stamp benefits. So our retirees are fine. But what happens when 15% of the population is retired? What about 20%? The baby boom generation, people born between 1946 and 1964, is a huge group of people as compared to the generations that followed. The oldest baby boomers will begin turning 65 in 2011. The youngest baby boomers reach age 65 in 2029. Between now and then, there will be an increasing number of retirees as compared to workers. Already, we are not collecting enough in payroll taxes to fund our Social Security and Medicare obligations. Even if we were paying enough today, we would need to increase our funding about 12% by 2015, over 25% by 2020, and over 60% by 2030. Folks, we cannot afford that. What often gets missed in this debate is that the aging of our population will also usher in a long period of lower than normal economic growth. We could easily suffer through a period of repeated recessions or even depression like we've seen in Japan for the past 2 decades. Japan had a baby boom too, but their baby boom was 20 years ahead of ours. In 1989, Japan's stock market peaked at over 38,000. Today, it is lower than our Dow at about 10,000. The government's projections, even though unsustainable, make the assumption that our economy will grow like it did in the 1980s and the 1990s. I do not think that is possible. What can we do about that? For one thing, we need to unshackle the American economy. We need to vastly simplify the tax code so that businesses and high-income earners make decisions based on efficiency and good business practices instead of for the purposes of avoiding high taxes. We need to make America a business-friendly place. We should try to attract businesses from all over the world instead of vilifying them and running them off to other countries. We have the second highest corporate taxes in the world. We need to cut all non-essential spending by the federal government. For people aged 55 and older, we need to preserve Social Security and Medicare, but we absolutely must change Social Security and Medicare for younger people. If we don't, we'll have to cut it for everyone regardless of their age. We need to change it dramatically for the very young, and we need a transitional program that is a blend between the old and the new for older people who are less than age 55. It is a bleak outlook, folks, but it is reality. Current politicians know that they will be retired before the severity of this problem is clear to everyone, and they hide behind economic projections that simply will not come true. After the 2010 elections, a debt commission will release its findings to the President and Congress. I am confident that they will point out the severity of this problem, just like every other similar commission over the past several decades. Will they do anything real about it? Come on, let's not kid ourselves.